Hello everyone, welcome to another tips and tricks edition of the Shutter School. I am your host, Dustin Thompson. Recently I was asked to speak at a photography class at one of the local colleges and give the kids some advice on starting their own photography business. And while I'm going over all these ideas in my head, I'm kind of thinking, this might make a cool episode of the Shutter School. So here we go, my keys to success when starting your own photography business. Buckle up your seatbelts, let's get started. That's right, tip number one, I don't care what you think. Now you're going, who's this guy and what does he have against me? The answer is nothing. Let me explain. With social media being what it is today, we are in such direct contact with the public and people's opinions. And to get the advertisement, you need to kind of put yourself out there. And by doing so, you're going to come across several different kinds of people. You're going to come across people that are complimentary of your work, which is always awesome. You're going to come across people who give you constructive criticism, which is also great. But we all have our own styles. So, who knows what their critique might be. It might be something that leans more towards how they shoot, maybe how they edit. Like me, personally, when I do like baby pictures or weddings, I edit just a tiny bit on the bright side because I want it to be like bright and vibrant and happy. Some people prefer to have it more realistic to how it really looked. So take it with a grain of salt, but listen to them. And then there's the third type of people, and this is the people that I'm talking about by saying I don't care what you think. These people are straight trolls. They are going to rip apart every picture, no matter if you took the most perfect picture on earth. You can't let them get inside your head because otherwise the next time you're looking through that viewfinder, you're going to be filled with self-doubt and going, oh my gosh, is this composed right? What am I doing here? And you're going to be so in your head that you're not going to be able to focus on what you're doing. So put them out of your mind. Do what you like to do as long as your client's happy and you're happy with the shot. That's all that's important. If other people are happy, even better. Tip number two, free doesn't equal money. Sounds simple enough, right? What I mean by that is there are all these people out there that think that just because we're passionate about photography, that we're just willing to just pass it out and do all these free photo shoots. They come at you with all these fancy terms like exposure and portfolio building. Now, I'm not saying that next time you're at your grandma's birthday party that you take her picture and go, pay up grandma, 25 bucks. But what I'm saying is that when people don't pay for a photo shoot, they don't value it. When I was first getting started, I'm putting together all these free photo shoots, in my head it was a good idea. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna get famous off this. And I can't tell you how many of these shoots that the people never showed up. Now, why is that? It's because they have nothing to lose. They're going, oh yeah, I got that photo shoot to do today. Oh wait, there's that one baseball game on TV and that seems like that'd be a lot more fun to watch that. So by getting them to pay a deposit or, have money riding on it, it makes it more valuable to them and to you. And the other thing is if you're doing these free shoots, what are they telling their friends? They're not saying, oh yeah, there's this great photographer that I shot with and, for 200 bucks, whatever the fee would be, he'll do your pictures. They're going, yeah, I got this guy, he took my pictures for free. I'm sure he'll do yours for free too. So remember that, because passion, unfortunately, doesn't pay the bills. When they find a way that I can do that, we can talk. Tip number three, prepare the night before. I can't stress that enough. You will sleep so much better knowing that the batteries are charged, the memory cards are formatted, the camera and all my lenses that I need are in the bag along with reflectors and whatever you may need. Because you want to focus your head on poses and the scenes and everything that is much more important than going, oh my gosh, do I have this ready to go? Oh my gosh, it will just give you so much more self-assurance and time to think about more important things. Tip number four. Actually, this could be considered 3.5. Reset your camera's setting. I can't tell you how many times in the past that this one bit me, but it won't again because I've come up with this system and I do it every time. Because see, what happens is, say I'm shooting pictures at night and I'm running an ISO of 800, 1200, higher, and then I have a daytime session the next day. Well, say I'm so in the moment, I don't think about it and I'm just shooting away at that 1200 ISO. Well, it seems like it's all great at the time. You can't even tell on that little screen, but you get home, you put the pictures on the computer and they are so noisy, they're borderline unusable. Now in post-production, I have to denoise them, which makes them look kind of like cartoon characters. So what I try to do is I come up with this base setting, say ISO 100, f4, 125 on the shutter. And it just, even if I take the camera out and the first thing I do is change it, at least I know that I have peace of mind that it's not going to be some outrageous end result. Because there is nothing more horrifying than seeing that you pretty much just almost ruin an entire session. Tip number 5, get the shot as right in camera as possible. Now I know that Photoshop and Lightroom and Aperture and whatever you may be using is so powerful and amazing nowadays, but take that extra 30 seconds to really dial in that shot. It'll save you so much time in post-production when you're not having to, oh man, we gotta bring the shadows down or the shadows up, and you're going back and forth with these sliders when you could have just shot it right in the first place. Now there are bad lighting conditions and you're going to have to edit it anyways, but it's so much better and you'll feel more confident in your shooting if you can just nail it right out of the camera, out of the gate. Tip number 6, confidence, confidence, confidence. Believe in yourself and project that you believe in yourself. You want your client to look at you and go, this guy knows what he's doing, he's really got this under control. And another thing is, let's say we take a picture, you look at the screen and it is blown out. Don't be like, oh my God, blow it off. Just come up with some kind of a line like, okay, we're just gonna dial that down a little bit, because you don't want them going like, who is this guy? What is he doing? Why am I paying him to do this? And definitely, if you take an unflattering picture of them, do not go, oh my God, you look horrible. Because not only do you have to have confidence, but you want your client to have confidence too. Otherwise, the pictures are going to come out horrible. Tip number 8, always be ready. I can't tell you how many sessions I've had where my favorite shot of the entire session was one that I did not intend to take. It might be a moment in between the poses, or it might be the kid just off playing with one of his toys, but you take that one shot and it's just like, oh, and it is just a work of art. So always be ready, because some of my favorite shots were completely unintentional. Tip number 9, be a friend first and a photographer second. Now you're going, what? Isn't taking pictures the name of the game here? It is, but I'll tell you, happy people take better pictures. So I spend a lot of time in my sessions when I can, joking around with them, making sure they're comfortable, respecting their personal bubble, because you just want them to be like, oh, this is just my buddy over here taking pictures of me, because if it's just some weird stranger, you tend to get that deer in the headlights kind of look, and who wants pictures of that? Tip 10, when you have the chance to, put the camera down for a second. Now if it's a 30-minute mini session, we're not going to have very much time. But if it's a longer session, I try to drop it down and engage with my client every once in a while, because otherwise you're just looking into this Cyclops monster the whole time, and that tends to make people feel a little bit uncomfortable. So, I drop it down, joke around with them for a little bit, come back, take a shot, and go back and forth. And it just seems like it has a better flow to it when you do that. Tip 12, be community, not competition. Photography is an amazing thing with a lot of amazing people, and there's so much to be learned from each other out there. The great thing about social media is, like, a lot of times I'll just be looking at pictures and I'll be like, whoa, what settings did you use for that? What lens did you use for that? And 9 times out of 10, these people are more than happy to share it with you. There are those elitists out there, but you know, they can just kind of go over there and do their own thing. I mean, if we're fighting over clients and such, there's so many people out there. There is plenty of people for everybody. Tip 13 is a little bit more from a business standpoint. I would highly recommend not constantly changing your brand name or your logos. I mean, I see these people on social media all the time where it's like, this week he's Magical Dream Photography, and then next week he's Shooting Stars Photography, and the logo is constantly changing. The problem is you're losing brand recognition. I mean, you have to think about it from a business standpoint. Like, let's think about like McDonald's or Pepsi. I mean, their logos have evolved over time, but they've never strayed too far from that core, because when you're driving down the street and you see those golden arches, you know just what you're getting. And, you know, you want people to see all these logos on all these pictures, you know, like this one, for instance, ta-da! You want them to be like, oh man, there's that logo, there's that one. That's all the same guy that did all those. I really want to shoot with that guy. So don't lose all that brand recognition by constantly changing things up. And last but not least, keep learning. Never let things get stale. There are so many resources out there. I'm signed up to all these newsletters. Digital Photography School, Picture Correct, Flern. I even do my own tutorials on the Shutter School on YouTube. You gotta keep things fresh, because otherwise you're just out there and you're just like, I'm taking the same picture over and over and over again. And there's no reason to need to feel like that, because there's all these techniques and stuff. And I mean, I've seen people out there that have been shooting for 40, 50 years and they're still like, whoa, I didn't know that was possible. So, I mean, it is just this vast, endless thing that you can just learn forever, and that will make you stay on your toes, and it will keep your photography improving over time. Well, I hope I could provide some insight and hopefully keep you from making mistakes further on down the road. Now, we are just scratching the surface when it comes to photography or a photography business. So if you have a tip you would like to share, please feel free to share them down in the comments below. And also feel free to contact me at my Facebook page, facebook.com/Dustin Thompson Photography. Be sure you subscribe to the Shutter School. I have lots of cool episodes coming up. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Until next time, I'm Dustin Thompson, and I'll talk to you soon.